You definitely know who I'm talking about. It could be a friend, a coworker, hey, maybe it's even you. That person who's always on social media, they see every story, they know what's up, but they never ever post. While everyone else is, busy creating content about their lives, these people are just living. So, what's going on there? Let's get into it.
Yeah, it's really easy to just write them off as shy or maybe that they're just missing out on all the fun. But what if they've actually figured something out that the rest of us are still catching up on? What if their silence isn't a weakness but actually a really powerful strategy?
Just think about the last time you were about to post something. You had the perfect photo, the caption was all ready to go, and then you just stopped, right? That little pause, that moment of doubt. We can call that the hesitation gap. It's this split second where your brain does this super fast calculation. Will people like this? Does this make me look cool? Is my life interesting enough? That tiny little gap, it tells us absolutely everything.
Okay, so to really get why we hesitate, we have to talk about what social media really is. Because it's become less about just sharing and a whole lot more about performing. And that's a huge distinction. You know what's funny is, this idea isn't new at all. Decades ago, this sociologist named Irvin Goffman came up with a theory that life is basically a kind of theater. He said we all have a front stage where we put on a show for other people, wearing the right mask for the right audience, and then we have a backstage, which is where we finally get to relax and just be ourselves.
So, social media didn't invent this performance, right? It just built the biggest, most permanent stage imaginable. A global stage with like a billion people in the audience and absolutely no backstage in sight. Now, every single post is a performance that's recorded forever. Every caption is part of the script. The people who don't post, they're not being antisocial. They're just choosing not to be on stage 24/7.
And that choice, it's not really about being scared. In a lot of ways, it's a very smart, very rational move. You could almost call it your brain's own defense mechanism, kicking in to save you from total digital burnout.
Now get this. Some researchers estimate that somewhere around 30 to 40% of everyone on social media are what they call lurkers. That's a huge number. These are the folks who scroll, they consume, but they almost never share. Now, sure, some are just gathering info, others are quietly keeping up with their friends, but a lot of them are making a very conscious choice to protect their own mental health.
And this right here, this explains why perfectly. It's a really vicious cycle. So, it starts with number one, right? The pressure to post something amazing. That leads directly to number two, the fear of what people will think. Then comes number three, where you start comparing your life to everyone else's highlight reels, which is just exhausting. So, what's the logical outcome? Number four, you just stop trying. You scroll. Your brain is basically throwing its hands up and saying, nope, I am not playing this game anymore. And let's be totally 100% clear about this. Constantly measuring your real, messy, awesome life against someone else's perfectly curated online persona, it's absolute poison for your mind. Even when you know it's not the whole story, a part of your brain still sees it as a competition that you're losing. It's a game that's rigged from the start. There's this really cool psychological idea that explains all of this so well. It's called self-determination theory. And basically, it says that for us to be happy, we all have three core needs. We need autonomy, which is feeling like we're in control of our own lives, competence, which is feeling like we're good at stuff, and relatedness, which is feeling connected to other people.
So here's the key. Social media can sometimes feel like this giant validation machine that messes with our sense of autonomy. It dangles likes and shares in front of us like little rewards, pushing us to act a certain way. By choosing not to post, people are basically taking back the controls. They're saying, my self-worth is not going to be decided by a public vote today, thanks. It's a quiet little act of rebellion.
But what if this silence isn't just about avoiding all the bad stuff? Let's pivot for a second, because this silence isn't just empty space. It's actually filled with something pretty powerful.
Okay, so psychologists talk about two different kinds of self-awareness. You've got public self-consciousness, which is all about your external image. You're constantly asking, how will this look to other people? But then there's private self-consciousness, which is all about your inner world, your thoughts, your feelings, your values. The question there is, how does this feel to me? The silent scrollers, they tend to live more on that second side. And I want to be super clear, that shift in focus from the outside world to your inside world, that's not a sign of anxiety or overthinking things. Actually, it's the exact opposite. It's a sign of really high emotional intelligence. When you're not constantly trying to manage your public brand, you have so much more mental energy left over for actual self-reflection. And the upsides are real. Studies suggest that people who are less performative online, well, they often have fewer friends, but those friendships are much deeper and more meaningful. They build a solid sense of who they are that doesn't just disappear when the audience goes away. They're basically trading in the quick high of likes for the long-term value of self-respect. It's a different game entirely. This all leads us to our final and maybe the most important point, because this isn't just about the psychology of social media, it's about how we choose to value our own lives. This is it. This is the core belief, the quiet mantra of the silent scroller. Choosing not to post isn't about hiding your life because you think it's boring. It's about protecting your life because you know it's precious. It's this radical idea that an experience can be amazing, maybe even more amazing if it's not turned into content for other people. And that right there is the great paradox, isn't it? Social media showed up and promised to connect us all. But for a lot of people, it just created this performance economy where our lives become products, our friends become our audience, and being truly authentic is the rarest thing in the world. So let's circle all the way back to that person we were talking about at the start. What if they're not the ones missing out at all? What if choosing privacy over performance, choosing to be present instead of posting, what if that isn't antisocial? What if it's actually the ultimate form of self-care in this crazy hyper-connected world? Because when it's all said and done, the quiet ones might not be lurking in the shadows. They might just be too busy living in the light, where you don't need a camera. It's definitely something to think about the next time your thumb is hovering over that share button.